Blueberry fans, this is one of very many review videos that are going to be featuring your special chapter. I am very jealous because the Blood Angels have not been featured in a very long time, but regardless, I digress. So in this video, we are going to be taking a deep dive and look into the Sternguard Veterans that just got recently released alongside the Leviathan Box. In this one, we're specifically going to be looking at the Sternguard Veteran Sergeant, as well as the one that is wielding the Combi-Plasma gun. So there is nothing to do, but let's just dive into the review. Alright, first up in the review docket is the Sternguard Veteran with the Combi-Plasma gun right here. And then we will take a look at the head area as usual, where all the business is happening. And what do we see? Plenty of shading up top to give a little bit more of a worn in white look. This action figure is rocking a lens up here, and looks like both of the lenses are a nice metallic red color. We flip around over to this side. You get to see the insignia on this pauldron, and it is nicely screened on. There is a slight variation with this insignia in that this one has absolutely no adornments whatsoever. It's just plain. Whereas his heavy bolter brother, you get to see some dots as well as the characteristic skull right here. And then as we flip around to the other side, there also is a variation here too with the pauldron. On his heavy bolter brother, this is completely blank and white, but this one has little studs. You have the Ultramarines U with the laurels and the 13th chapter. Once again, unique to this action figure because his heavy bolter brother has this particular pauldron. So it's nice to see a little bit of variation within the whole entire Sternguard squad. And looking at the center of this action figure, there is a winged skull with a shaded eye socket. And moving on down to the waist area of this action figure, there are plenty of things to take a look at. Clearly have two single pouches on each side of this action figure. There is a bolt pistol holster right here, and looks like this action figure is rocking two plasma containers right here, which have been highlighted up and weathered, which is very nice to see. Front and center of this action figure is this very interesting looking, very large Sternguard Veteran type purity seal with a ribbon that is dangling down that has been shaded nicely with some scrawl here too. The tabard down here is clearly your typical bone and tan color. As we flip this area up, this guy is rocking a special kneecap where it's white and you see a gold skull right here. Purity seal. Let's put the guy down and take a look at the armaments on the right hand side. And clearly this is the bolt pistol. I'll have to say this bolt pistol does not seem to have any highlighting on the casing, nor does it have any kind of weathering or shading that's happening with the silver areas here. One thing I'll comment on is that you can pull out the magazine and you can see the bolt rounds that are here, which is a nice touch that has been added. And that's pretty much it for this bolt pistol. Now, what makes this action figure unique is clearly this Combi-Plasma right here. So up top, where part of the business is happening, is your bolt rifle area. So you have your magazine that's up here. And then I will have to say that unlike the bolt pistol, you get to see plenty of shading that's happening on the silver ends here. And as we flip around to the other side, it is a little bit more plain looking. Now, looking at the bottom part, which is the plasma area, you get to see these awesome plasma coils here. I love it when JoyToy has this base color of a silver, but puts a translucent blue over here. It really makes this Combi-Gun really jump out. And down here is the plasma cartridge. Over on my left-hand side, we have a nice little amulet that you can loop around the Sternguard Veterans' hands. Clearly, this is a beaded amulet, and you get to see a nice fancy skull, almost like bolt round if I'm not mistaken. And then finally, this backpack is your standard issue backpack. nothing too much to glean on this one. And now let's take a look at the leader of this pack, which is the Sergeant. All right, picking up the Sergeant, you get to see, well, the Sergeant's very red head. And what's interesting about the Sergeant too is got this cool looking white stripe that jumps out at me. And then the lenses are a nice metallic green to contrast with the red of the helmet. There is no shading in the vents whatsoever. Now looking at the pauldron right here, this guy has got the special red skull indicating once again that he is a sergeant. And just like with the rest of the Sternguard veterans, there is a variation of the pauldron designs. And as we flip around over here, just for a side-by-side comparison, looks like this sergeant's pauldron is a little bit more plain. He just has an Ultramarines U, and that's pretty much it. One thing that the sergeant has that the others don't is this heraldic shield. In the middle is a winged skull. Really not too much stuff that's going on. And I'll have to say there's really not too much going on at the center of this action figure either. You actually have a very clear view of the tabard here, along with its bone color and tan glory. And as we take a look at the belt of the sergeant, single pouch, it appears that he has a magazine for his Combi-Gun right here, another single pouch, an empty holster right here. And then here is a very interesting thing. You have like this amulet that's dangling down, plenty of weathering that is happening along with the purity seal. You lift this area up. He also has a decorated knee. And then finally down here is a raised Ultramarines banner here. Take a quick look at the bolt pistol. Just like his brother, this is removable, so you can see the magazine and you can pop this in. And the true star of this whole entire action figure is this Combi-Gun right here. In this case, it is a Combi Melta. So you have the melted gun up top right here. And I'm a little bit disappointed with the muzzle of this melted gun. You would think that there would be a little bit more weathering just because this thing fires at a very, very high heat, and you would expect a little bit of metal burn on these edges. So it would have been nice to see that. This is obviously the fuel chamber for the melted gun. And then down here is the bolter end of this gun. You got the muzzle for the bolter, followed by the magazine that is down here. And this one is nice in that he's got a soft plastic loop that he can loop around his shoulder just in case if he has to. And the final thing that we'll touch upon is the backpack. The bottom of the backpack is completely the same and does not deviate from what we have seen before. However, there is a Sternguard iconography up here, which is a nice gold color with a gold skull in the center of it. And so that is the review of the Sternguards, and I will let you know if these guys are worth it in my final thought. All right, Blueberry fanboys, you must be excited that all these awesome new releases are going to be coming up from the Leviathan box set. But let's talk about these Sternguard veterans that I have in front here. Let's just start off with the one with the Combi-Plasma gun. So I really like this action figure just because of the Combi-Plasma gun. I think that JoyToy did a fantastic job with highlighting the coils on the plasma gun on the bottom. And I really do like how each and every single one of these action figures do have a little bit of small nuances that differentiate each individual from each other, with the different kind of pauldron markings, as well as just the different entrapments that they have. So this is just your typical Sternguard veteran with a long tabard. Now moving on to the sergeant over here. Obviously sergeants are really cool, and you can see the difference because he's got the heraldic shield that he's rocking and the other small amulets that adorn him as well. The cool thing about this sergeant is I really do enjoy the Combi Melta gun. I think the Melta gun is really cool looking. So you may be wondering why I didn't get the other two Sternguard veterans. I just thought those two from just the promo pictures were just a little bit too plain looking, and they were only wielding a bolt rifle. So that's why I decided to buy these two guys as well as the heavy bolter Sternguard veteran, because they were very unique. Now, do I recommend getting these? Yes, I absolutely do. I think Sternguard veterans are very important in the lore as well as an important part of a Space Marine army. So that's why I chose these action figures to get. So I would highly recommend you to get these two as well. And where should you be getting these action figures? Obviously, you should be getting them at David Toys. They have excellent customer service, and they do get these action figures out to you quite quickly. So click in the link in the description below where you will be brought to the David Toys website. And just before checkout, please do not forget to use the code SNS for 12% off of your purchase. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next one.